Hey everyone, doing a quick response to a YouTube short by Smile to Jannah, who's titled it like a clever response if you're called a T word. Yet, like most of his stuff, is ironically titled because it's one of the dumbest things I've seen him produce, and that's going by a very low bar. But it's also turns out to be unintentionally really funny. So let's take a quick look at this.
Why don't you get out of our country?
We will, when you get out of ours.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that's got to do with the topic of this, but obviously this is a Dawah video, so you have to start with a victim narrative. Oh, I'm being told to leave the country. Most people quite happy having Muslims living in the West, as long as they are not promoting Salafi, Sharia, oppress everybody who's not a Muslim in your country. Yeah, I mean, you may have been told that you're not particularly welcome to live in a country, but I can kind of understand it since your ideology is one where you'd want the rest of the country subjugated or killed. So you might understand they've got a bit of a problem with you.
Why do all terrorists say Allah Akbar?
So you're telling me if a Christian kills someone and shouts Mr. Bean, somehow it's Mr. Bean's fault, mate?
When I first watched this, I thought this is just another example in a long, long line of Islamic apologists being unable to use a correct analogy. Now, he's trying to compare somebody who interprets Islam as meaning that they can kill for the religion and then invoking the God's name, which is supposed to have given them the ideology. He's trying to compare that with a Christian who might kill someone and then randomly invoke a comedy character. Obviously, there's no connection between the two, so you just think that person is a lunatic, whereas there is a connection between shouting your God's name as you enforce your interpretation of his ideology. So it's completely disanalogous. However, when I watched it a second time, I realized that unintentionally, Smile to Jannah might have just become the first Dawah apologist to correctly use an analogy. Now, for those who don't know, which will probably be most people outside of the UK, Mr. Bean is a comedy character that was created by a comedian called Rowan Atkinson, who also plays the role. And I didn't realize how much him and Allah have in common because Mr. Bean is childish, he's a buffoon, he creates chaos everywhere he goes, and most importantly, he's fictional. So it actually turns out unintentionally to be a pretty damn good analogy. So well done, Smile to Jannah.
Why are your people bombing us?
Hey, we're just here to spread democracy and liberate you, mate.
What?
Yeah, and show you freedom and other stuff. Doesn't sound nice when it's coming from the other person, is it?
Yeah, and I'm sure it didn't sound nice for the 1,000 years of Islamic imperialism when you were conquering the Indian subcontinent and North Africa and East Africa and Southwest Europe and Southeast Europe. Yeah, so you could, use your own logic against you if you're going to be pulling that card. But anyways.
A terrorist.
Brother asked a very good question. According to the Oxford Dictionary, if you check the meaning dictionary definition of terrorist, it's a systematic definition. So according to this definition...
Right, so the whole point of this video was saying this is a clever response, and he either didn't bother reading the definition to supposedly show that he's not one of these, or he's cut it out of the short, which completely undermines the whole fucking point of it. What a total idiot.
I'm not a terrorist. I'm afraid you are a terrorist. So repeat after me, the kalima. Brother, you have to accept there's none worthy worship besides Allah.
And that, I mean, he's mocking Zakir Naik and saying that what he's saying is gibberish. Again, which I completely agree with you. So this just seems to be one big self-own. I mean, he's mocking like the father of bad Dawah. And this is his video. There's supposed to be clever responses to being called the T word. It's hard to get this dumb. But yeah, I mean, I will congratulate Smile to Jannah for finally saying something that I agree with. I think it's perfectly reasonable to compare Allah to Mr. Bean.